Hello and welcome to our third session in this object mode. And in this session, we are going to discuss basically about view modes. See, when you are doing the modeling, it is very important to see the model from different views. If you have some 30 models, I have to isolate to a single model. So how you are going to navigate the scene and how you are going to see the model is very important for your productivity. And this is what we are going to cover in this session in detail. I have already in the description provided you a link to download the previous file if you have not worked on that project completely. In recent files, I have this. I will click on this and I will open it. This is what we had built in our previous session. To start with the view menu, the very first option here is the toolbar. And you can see here, if I switch off the toolbar, the left panel is gone. Again, if I on it, it comes back. So you need not use the mouse here. So if I press T on the keyboard, it will hide. Again press T, it will be visible. And similarly, the next option we have is the sidebar. The sidebar is on the right side. And the keyboard shortcut for this is N. So instead of T, if you press N, the right side bar will be hidden. Again press, it will be visible. So press N to open the sidebar, T to open the left toolbar. And the next option you have here is the tool settings. So for every tool that you select here, you have a tool setting appear on the top. I had already told you in the previous session that this tool setting will also be available in the properties tools panel. So instead of coming here and assessing it, the same panel will be available to you over here. And this tool panel, you can either enable it or disable it over here. Right now, select, cursor, move, rotate, scale. This panel will be very small. But if you go into sculpt mode and start using these tools, you can see you will have a lot of parameters to adjust in these tools. I will come back here to object mode, and in view, this is shown in the tool setting. And the fourth is the assets shelf. Right now, this asset shelf I cannot show you to you because we are not using the asset browser. After these preliminary classes, I will show you how you can use third-party asset libraries to immediately get materials and objects. That we are going to discuss it later. Then the next option is this, we have already discussed, adjust last operation. So whenever I do any operation, say for example, I select this grid, I will come into the move tool, I will press G, I will press GZ and I move it like this, and then immediately you see this last adjusted operation window opening here, and I will set it to 0 so that it doesn't move, and this will be visible only soon after you do an operation. And then next you have frame selected, and this is also very important because sometimes what happens is you are working on this Susan here, and when I am working on Susan, suddenly I have to work on the icosphere. So in the list I have icosphere. Now I have to move to icosphere and I have to adjust it. Instead of zooming out and searching it, the very best way is you come to view, frame selected, immediately the icosphere will be visible to you. And the keyboard shortcut, you already know it, it is Numpad Period. On the Numpad, if you press period, say for example, I want to move back to Susan here, I will come into this outliner, select Susan, bring the mouse here, and if I press the Numpad period, immediately I come over here. And this is what the option view frame selected does. And when you are working, if you want to see the entire scene, whatever is present in the scene, if you want to see it, then you are going to go into view and press frame all. And for this, the keyboard shortcut is the home key on your keyboard. So if I press home key, see, you can see whatever is present in your scene will be visible to you. And then next option, if you come over here, you have perspective orthographic. This we have already discussed. So the thing here is keyboard shortcut is Numpad 5. You can see here now I am in the perspective view. If I press 5, now I am in orthographic perspective. Orthographic perspective. I can toggle between them using the Numpad 5. Then after this, if I come down, you have this local view, and this also we use it a lot. What this local view does is, say for example, now as of now in this model with shift and middle mouse I will drag it, I want this band, that is whatever this torus we have added, I want this to come and sit at the border here. So I want to edit this. So now if I have so many objects here, it is very difficult to work only among them. So I can select any object, and if I go into view, local view, toggle local view, only that particular object will be visible and I can work on it, and after working on that I can go back to view, local view, toggle local view, and I can come back. Now here when I am working, say for example I have to work on two objects, this I will press shift and select this torus also, then I am going to press the num key /. The num key / will toggle the local view. So this is the keyboard shortcut, and now here I can come over here and I want this to be placed here. So I will press 1 and come into the front view. I want this to be scaled to fit here. So if I can come here to scale and I can scale it, but the keyboard shortcut is yes. If I press yes and drag it, see now both are getting squared. Right click to cancel it. I will select only this object, then press S and I am going to scale it. So now what is happening is, it is scaling in all the three axes. You can see in the scale window over here. So I will just move it here and I will show it to you. In the scale window, if you see, if I press S, it gets scaled in all the three axes. However, if I scale it to this size, this becomes very big. I will press Ctrl Z. So in these parameters, I cannot scale individual object. So in some of the primitives, I cannot change their ratio. So that's why in case of this, if I try to press yes and scale it, you will see that it will scale both in x and y axis. If I press yes, x and scale it, see, I can scale it like this, and now the z axis is not scaling. I will press GZ and move it down like this. If required, I will come into the wireframe mode. I will press shift middle mouse, I will zoom it, and now I will again press SX and scale it down to exactly fit this area. So like this. So I will move it so that this inner area is touching here. Then I will come back to shaded view and see whether it is right. No, yeah, this is almost perfect. See, this is sitting correctly. I now doesn't want tomb because the job of this tomb is done and I want to remove it from my selection. So if you want to remove it from your selection, you can go into view, local view, and you have the next option, remove from local view. And the keyboard shortcut for this is, instead of numpad /, if you press alt and press numpad /, see, this will be removed. And now I have only this object. Now I can select this and I am now going to press S, Z, and I will slightly scale it down along the Z so that it is narrowed down like this. And then now if I press numpad /, everything will be visible. So now when you want to edit any object isolated, we are going to use this view local view. And after this viewer node, again I am going to come to this viewer node when we are going to work with the node editor. In the view you have the camera. And now when you come to the camera here, say for example, I want this object in two cameras view. One is from the top right and another from the ground view. So as of now I have one camera here. I will just double click on this camera and I will call this as camera top view. So this will going to give me the top view. And this view, if I come over here and press numpad 0, see, you are seeing it here, but it is not covering the entire area. So now what I have to do is, I have to press 1 and I have to select this camera, press G. Blender 2.7, 2.6 was used. We have to adjust the camera like this. I will show another easy way later on. So I have to move it like this, and to see the view of the camera as I am editing here, what I will do is I will bring the mouse to the right hand side here. Once it changes to the crosshair, I will just drag it and create one more panel. I will press N and hide the side panel, T and tool panel, both I will hide it, and I will come to this panel and press numpad 0 to see the camera view, so that as I am seeing the camera view, I can adjust the camera here. So I will move it to the back. So now I want this, see, in the right view, I move it to the back. Then I will come to press 7 and come to top view, and I will move it to the side. I will press 1 and I will move it to down like this, and again I will press 7 and I will move it back. Okay, so once I move it back, I will again press 3 and I will move it to the top. See how much time it is taking to adjust this camera angle. Okay, I will show you another way. This is a tougher way. This is a wrong way of setting it, but just I am showing it to you so that you have an idea. So here, this is the view I have set for this camera. So this view is fine. But I want one more view of the camera from the ground view. So now what I will do is, I will come into the add object here, and just like meshes, you can also add an extra camera here. And when I add the camera, it will be added exactly at the origin point. I had set the origin point at the monkey in my previous lesson, so that's why it has come near the monkey. And now I want to see this camera view. I will come into this outliner and I am going to call this now as camera ground view. And now if I want to change to this camera, then the keyboard shortcut is Ctrl Numpad 0, or in view, if you come to camera, set active object as camera. So if I click on this select active object as camera, now you can see I am seeing through my ground view camera. Come over here and press 7 and see this is sitting inside the monkey. So that's why you are seeing this view. Now I will press G and Y and I will move it back. See, I can move it. I will zoom it out. I will press shift and middle mouse and move it to the top. I will press G and Y and move it back like this a little. Then I will press 3 and come to side view. Then I will press 3 and Z and I will move it to the bottom. I want the camera to be here. And then I will press 7 and I want this camera to the side here. And now I will press R and I will rotate it like this. So I have set this to this axis. Then I will come to top view and I will press R and have to now rotate along the Y axis, RY, and I am going to rotate it like. Then I am going to move this to forward a little like this, closer. I will press 1 and I will move it to the top. See, now I have to struggle so much to set the angle. See, I will set it like this and then I will press G and Z and I will move it to the down. So now I have this in the ground view. So I am struggling so much to set it. I will show you the shorter way later. So now I have this from the ground view. So now I have two views now. If you come into the scene menu here in properties, you can now see the active camera as camera ground view. Now I have to select camera top view. Then if I bring the mouse here and press Ctrl Numpad 0, now top view became the active camera. So like this, to switch between the camera, we use this option in view camera, set active object as camera. And now once a particular camera is active, you can press 0 to come out of it or again press 0 to have it. So, and that is what you are seeing as the second menu over here. Then I will be in the active camera. I will now have done this job. I will click here, drag it to right and combine it together. And now if I come into view camera and click on frame camera bounds, see, it will be zoomed and the entire screen is zoomed to this area. And remember, if you want to make it full screen, the keyboard shortcut is Ctrl plus spacebar. See, now you have this as a full screen and again press Ctrl spacebar, it comes out. See, this works for all panels. So I want this outliner to be in full screen, means bring the mouse over the outliner and press Ctrl spacebar. See, in the entire screen you have the outliner. You press again Ctrl spacebar, and even for this property window, if you want full screen, Ctrl spacebar full screen, you work on it, press Ctrl spacebar and you can come out. This will be very useful when you are working on a laptop. Then you have the viewpoint. This we have already discussed. So you have the camera view, numpad 0, the top, bottom, front, back, right, left. So don't come and use it here. Use keypad. If I press 1, it is front view. Control 1, it is back view. Similarly, 3 is right view. Control 3 is left view. 7 is top view. So I will click the home button. Then I will press Control and 7 to come to bottom view. And if you are seeing in one particular view, say for example, I am seeing this object in one particular view, and if I want to see this exactly 180 degree on the other side, click 9 on your numpad. You will see on the other side. This is one side, this is other side. So immediately to see an object from the opposite side, you can make use of the keyboard 9. Then after that you have the navigation. This also has been covered. See now, for example, to orbit left. See now, if I want to rotate around a particular object, now I want my camera to rotate around here, means I will numpad period to zoom it. I will zoom it out like this. Okay, and say it is 4 is rotating to the left, 6 rotates to the right, then 8 tilts up and 2 tilts down. If you come to view, navigation, orbit left, orbit right, orbit up, orbit down, and opposite, orbit opposite is, say for example, I have moved and view it here, and if I press 9, I will be in the opposite direction. See, to change the direction, I use 9. Roll left and roll right. See now, I will press 1 and come into the front view. Now, if I press 6, I turn like this, but if I press shift and press 6, see, I rotate like this. 4, I rotate like this. Okay, this is what we call as rolling. So if you want to roll to left or roll to right, we use this, and that is the option you have in navigation. Then if you want to pan it, I will come back here, press 1. For pan options, remember with shift it is going to rotate, but if I press Ctrl and press 4, see I am moving to the left. If I press Ctrl and 6, I am moving to the right. If I press Ctrl and 8, I am panning to the top. If I press Ctrl and 2, I am panning to the bottom. So these are the navigation control you have here. You have zoom in and zoom out. You select again any camera, and if you want to zoom exactly here, press numpad period and then start zooming. You will just zoom in and zoom out to that camera. Instead of using mouse, if you want to do it with the keyboard, in numpad if you press plus, you will zoom in. If you press minus, you will zoom out. Come to navigation here, you also have zoom region. Zoom region means this is keyboard shortcut is shift plus B. If I press shift B and if I select a particular area like this, only that area will be zoomed. And now again if I press home, I will see everything. I will press shift B and I am going to select only this Suzanne. It will be zoomed. So this will increase your productivity when you are working with models. Now again press home and come back to the full view. Now the other option you have in navigation is dolly view. Dolly view. Dolly view means, see if I press Ctrl Shift and press the middle mouse, you can just move in like this. This is like dollying your camera. See, it dollies like this. Okay. So if I come into the camera view and if I come into view navigation, now you have zoom camera 1:1. So it will zoom to the actual 1:1 pixel ratio. So this is available only in the camera view. So when you are in the camera view, this option will be on. But in other views, this option will be grayed out. And after that, you have fly navigation and walk navigation. So if I click on fly navigation, see the keyboard shortcut is you have to press this shift and toggle key. This is the key which is present next to on the left side of 1 on your keyboard. if you press shift and toggle key, now you are in the fly mode. And when you are in this fly mode, if I now press A, I move to left. If I press D, I move to right. If I press W, I move forward. If I press S, I move backward. See, this is what we call as the walk mode. I will press escape and come out of it. Then I will come to view. You also have another option called as fly navigation. And in fly navigation, you can rotate around. As you rotate the mouse, you can move around anywhere like this. And even in this case, if I press A, I will move it to left. If I press D, I move it to right. So here, this will be flying. Okay, I move it forward. Yes, I move it backward. So this is like you are flying in the air. So that is the effect this is going to give. So I will again press escape. And next option you have is the view align view. And this is where this is very important, because in our previous session, when we wanted to align our top view camera to this view, we struggled so much moving around and everything. But the best way to do it is, I will press 1 and come into the front view. I will zoom this and I will actually set the view like this. See, I will select this object because this is selected. I am not able to rotate it correctly. I will select this object, press numpad 0. I will zoom out, and now if I navigate, see, I will set this as the correct angle I need. Now selecting this angle, if I come over to view and in align view, if I choose the option align active camera to view, now what happens is, now I will select the active camera is camera top view. So now if I come here, align view, align active camera to view means, see, you can see this became the view, but still there is some portion which is getting cut up. Now for this, what you can do is press N, you come to view, and here you have one option, lock camera to view. You enable this. If you doesn't enable this, when you are zooming, see, you are zooming the entire screen. This has no effect on the camera. But if I enable camera to view, now I can zoom this, I can press shift and adjust it exactly to the center, and then now you unlock it. So now this is the camera view you are going to see. So like this, you can set the camera view very fast using this technique. Or similarly, I will come to camera ground view. I will press Ctrl Numpad 0 to make this the active view. Now even here, if I want to set it correctly, I have select this camera ground view here, and now I will come back to 1 and press come to front view. I select some object here at the center. I will shift and rotate like this. So I want the ground view to be exactly like this. I will set the ground view now, and again I will come into view, and I am going to come to align view and align active camera to view. So the keyboard shortcut is Ctrl Alt Numpad 0. So this becomes active view, camera underscore ground view is aligned over here. And now again, if you want to zoom it, enable this camera to view, zoom out a little and just move it and adjust it and switch it off. So this is how you can set your camera view very fast. I will come to view, align view, and if I come to top view, see, it is aligned to the top view. So similarly, if I press shift and press 1, this will be aligned to the front view. So you are working, and suddenly if you want to see this from, I am in this angle, suddenly if I want to see it from the front view, I can press shift 1 and come to front view, shift 3 and come to side view, shift 7 and come to top view. And this is what is given here in this align view. So you have top, bottom, front, back and left, right. I will come back to camera top view and I will press numpad 0 and come over here. Say for example, I want the camera to focus to this Suzanne. Then I can go to view, and in align view, if I click on align active camera to selected, then immediately my camera is focused to this object. I am going to now select the icosphere. I will come to view, align active camera to selected. See, this is selected. So I will again select Suzanne back here. I will come to view, align view and I am going to choose align camera to select it. Then you have this we have already discussed. Center cursor or frame wall means, say now I will come into front view and if I press Shift C, see the cursor is put to the center and you are going to see everything. Say for example you are somewhere here and if I come to view and align view and if I choose this center view to cursor, the center of your screen will be focused to this cursor. Now I can lock my view. Say for example I am seeing this monkey, I can come to view, align view, view lock to active means this will be, whenever I am moving around, I will be rotating around it, I will be moving around it only around this object. So when you are editing, this will be very helpful to see this from different object. And once you do all the editing, you can go to view, align view and click on view lock clear. So we have completed align view and then you have view regions. And this is especially important when you have a very complex scene. You can come to view region and if you click on clipping region, it is the keyboard shortcut is Alt B. Now if I press Alt B, I will get this crosshair. I can select one particular area like this. So I can only see this particular area. See, only this area I can view around it. So I can clip the area like this, and to remove this clip, press Alt B, the clip will be removed. I have to come into the camera view, and in this camera view I have to render only this ear of this monkey. So here I will come into view region and now I am going to use render region. Render region is Ctrl plus B. If I click Ctrl plus B and if I drag it and if I go to render and if I render the image, only this part of the image is being rendered. Okay, so if you come into view, I have completed. You to clear the render region, click on clear render region, it will be cleared. And I have selected this camera underscore ground view is the active camera. And I will also come in the collection and I will select camera underscore ground view as the object. Bring the mouse over here and I move it up. And this is the timeline. And in the timeline, I am going to add a keyframe. So I will come into the item here. I will press I here and a keyframe has been added. You can see this diamond, yellow diamond appearing over here. This is the first keyframe. Then I will come to frame 30 and at frame 30 with camera ground view selected, I will come to view and I will enable this camera to view option and I am now going to zoom this out and I will press shift middle mouse and pan it up, zoom a little more and I am going to adjust this position over here like this. I will center it. Now I will switch off camera to view and at this point with camera ground view selected, I will come to item and I am going to add one more keyframe. So now I will also come down here and I will set the end frame to 30 so that I have 1 to 30 frame animation and if you see this animation is going to move like this. I will come over to view here and this is what this play animation will do. Shift plus space bar will play the animation. Then you have viewport render image, means whatever image you are seeing in the viewport, that image will be now rendered. See, you have whatever is in the viewport, that image is rendered. This is not the camera render, this is the viewport render. And similar to this, I can also render. If I click on viewport render animation, whatever there is in the viewport, that will be rendered. And the other option you have here in view is viewport render keyframes. Means now what happens is you have keyframe at frame 1 and at frame 30. So now this is going to render. If I come to view and click on viewport render keyframes, it will render frame 1, frame 30. These 3 frames will be rendered. So I will again close this. Then finally here if you come to view area and here you have toggle quad view and the keyboard shortcut for this is Ctrl Alt and Q. So in this case, now I will just reduce this timeline area, and if I press Ctrl Alt Q, you can see now, just like in 3ds Max, you have 4 views: top view, front view, right view and camera view. And if I press N, I can hide it. So it toggles to this, and if I want the single screen frame, then again press Ctrl Alt Q, you will come to single screen. And Ctrl Alt Q, and when you are editing, sometimes if you want to see what you are editing in different angles, you can make use of this quad view. I will again press Ctrl Alt Q and come back here. Now the next thing is, if I come to view area, then horizontal split, we have already understood how to split the screens. Vertical split, we have already seen it. So horizontal split means this will horizontally split the screen, and below I can press 7 and come into the top view. Now similarly, the other option you have here is view area vertical split. I can split the screen like this into 2 parts, and here I can press 1 and come into the front view. Now these things we have already seen. Then you have toggle maximize area. This also I have already covered. So for this you have 2 shortcuts: toggle maximize area and toggle full screen area. Say for example, if I select this and press Ctrl space bar, see this becomes full screen. Again press, it will become to normal. If I press Ctrl Alt space bar, see this becomes full screen. Press Ctrl Alt space bar again and it becomes normal. So this is the option provided over here. And finally, if I select any panel and if I come to render, if I come to view area and if I close area, that particular area will be closed. Now right now I will come back here and press Shift F5, and I am going to enable this 3D viewport. So then I will come over here, I will drag and combine these two together, and also I will come to this corner crosshair, I will drag and combine this together. And finally now I will go to File, Save As, and this I am going to name this as 3_primitives, and I am going to save this. So this completes our session on understanding the view menu in our 3D viewport area when we are in object mode. So we are going to continue with the other menu, that is the select menu and the object menu, in our next session. Thank you.